Next up from Ghostbusters Afterlife, we have Mr. Logan Kim. It's my huge pleasure to introduce McKenna Grace. The next cast member is my huge pleasure to introduce Finn Wolfhard. Next up, an absolutely fabulous actor, Carrie Coon. Finally, the two people without whom we literally would not be here, producer Ivan Reitman and co-writer and director Jason Reitman. We are here.
We were going to do this about a year and a half ago, right?
I thought we were going to do this 5 years ago.
Well, speaking of which, Jason and Ivan, maybe you could talk a little bit about the genesis of Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Well, in 1977, my mother and father decided to have a child.
This is not an R-rated panel, I don't know.
Oh, sorry.
Ivan.
Well, I was lucky enough to get a great idea from Dan Aykroyd. He sent me an 80-page script. And we made the film in 1984, rushing all the way. And it's amazing how you responded to it. And I just want to thank you all for being here today and hanging in there for almost 40 years. And amazingly, about, I guess now 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago, Jason came and said, you know, I think I want to talk to you about a Ghostbuster idea that I have. I just looked at him. He had just made these wonderful movies like Juno, Up in the Air, and Young Adult. And I said, you have a great career going. Why do you want to do what your old man did? And then he told me a story that just knocked me out. I said, if you think you can do it, you got to go do it. And that's how it all started.
And Jason, why did you want to do this?
You know, my whole life I was asked, would you make a Ghostbusters movie? And I made the incorrect, egotistical assumption that people wanted to see my Ghostbusters movie. When the truth is, what we all wanted to see was a Ghostbusters movie. We wanted another Ghostbusters movie. We wanted to get back into Ecto-1 again. We wanted to pick up the proton pack again. And that's where it came from. You know, I've said this story a lot, and maybe some of you have heard it before, but look, there was a moment where I just saw this girl in my head. She was 12 years old, and she was picking up a proton pack in the middle of a field, and I didn't know who she was. And then I saw this teenage guy, and he was in Ecto-1, and he was drifting through wheat fields, and I didn't know who he was. And when Harold Ramis passed away, I suddenly knew who they were. They were the Spenglers, and I knew I needed to tell this story.
And before I move on to the cast who have brought that to life, I'd like to speak with your co-writer a second, Gil. Could you talk a little bit about how you got involved and perhaps your own sort of personal history with busting ghosts?
Yeah, sure. My experience, I mean, Jason had a front row seat to Ghostbusters from the start. If Jason was a Spangler in this story, then I was more of a podcast in this story. Someone who came at it with absolute enthusiasm. I am a Ghostbusters fan. I became one the summer that we moved to America in 1984. So I was 7 years old, and Ghostbusters was the first Hollywood movie that I saw when we moved to the States. And it was a transformative experience. And it sort of, it hooked me into the power of cinema, what a movie could do when it was firing on all cylinders, and the tone of it, the magic, the scares, all of it kind of hooked me in. And so for me, it was just pure passion as a fan. And I've been lucky enough to be friends with Jason for a long time. We met randomly, and we started a conversation that we continue to this day, every day. And that conversation one day turned to his own destiny with his family, and that destiny led to picking up the baton of ghostbusting. And we were immediately thrilled by how organically the conversation and the story and the characters started to come together. And before we knew it, there was a world. And that journey has led us directly to this night, and it's absolutely amazing.
So if you'd seen Scarface in 1984, this would be a very different panel.
Yeah.
Exactly right. I was just so lucky that I was like, it was such a perfect marriage of, coming to Los Angeles, going to a big movie theater, having the ride of my life, and feeling just so, so inspired. And that inspiration is a big part of why I have dedicated my life to telling stories and making films. So it's just like an incredible privilege to be on this stage and to be part of the legacy of ghostbusting.
And Carrie, maybe you could talk a little bit about your character and how you got involved with the film?
I play Callie, the mom. Incidentally, my husband did see Scarface when he was very young, and if you know him, you know what that did to him. Jason called me after he called all the directors I'd worked with to make sure that I was funny, and then he invited me to
After they said you weren't, then you got the job?
Yes, very serious mom part. And then I got to go in and read a script, and he said it was a big secret and something he had been scared to do, but then finally decided it was time. And I sat down, and it was a new Ghostbusters movie, and I was 3 years old when the original film came out, and I grew up in the Midwest, and my parents both worked, and I didn't go to the movies a lot, but it was on TV all the time. And I think what people don't remember about the original film so much is that it was very innovative for its time. Annie Potts talks about the first time she read it, and we hadn't really seen a lot of this genre blending that we've come to really look forward to and appreciate in other films. But this was one of the first times you had comedy and action and horror in one film. And nobody had read anything quite like that before. So if somebody calls and says you can be part of the new Ghostbusters movie, I think you just say yes. And I was just such a big fan of Jason's anyway, of his other filmmaking, and so I was really curious to see how he was going to pull this one off.
And Finn, who do you play in the film, and how did you get involved with the movie?
I played Trevor, who is the son of Callie. Yeah. And
You could just call me Mom.
Yeah,
It's okay.
yeah, Mom one. I got. He's this kid who's I think really looking for friends and wants to be a part of a community, and wants to be accepted. And kind of finds that through moving to a new town, meeting other kids, and also piecing together kind of his old family life and his roots. I got involved just from like a tape that came in, and it was like code name.
You didn't know what you were auditioning for.
No, I knew that it was you. I knew there's I obviously love Jason's movies, and I had no idea what I was auditioning for. But what's brilliant about it is that it wasn't like a scene with action or anything. It wasn't like talking about a ghost scene. It was just a scene between an older brother and a little sister.
Yeah, the casting breakdown said this is just a movie about a family that inherits a farm, and it sounded really like one of my movies.
Right. No, it did. Yeah, I had no idea. I mean, I didn't know what it was, and I think after I did the tape, I was kind of thinking in the days after, I was like, I wonder why it's so secretive. Like, I wonder why there's such a big code name behind it. And yeah, then I just heard that Jason liked it, and when I found out it was Ghostbusters, I really didn't think I was going to be cast because I was already in the Stranger Things, and there was there was 1, 2, 3. Jesus. Okay, so I had, not to make it about that, but I had worn the costume in an episode, and I thought, okay, well, maybe it might, maybe Jason, that might rub him the wrong way or something like that. And
You look good in the costume. I mean, I don't...
Yeah, I guess that's what it was. But no, I just, I immediately said yes, and it's, for me, the most amazing part about being a part of this franchise and is like the legacy behind it and feeling like you're actually a part of a family. That's my favorite part about being on set is being with people, and the fact that I got to be with the best people I've ever met, like on a set, it was amazing, and also being a part of like amazing, rich history, was great. So.
McKenna, preferably without plugging any of your other projects, could you talk about your character and how you got involved in the movie?
Sorry, really quick, can I say this is insane to be here? I've always wanted to go to Comic-Con and to be here with Ghostbusters. It's insane. I can't. I see people in costumes and I can't stop crying. I'm sorry. But I play Phoebe. I'm the girl that picks up the proton pack. She's just this weird, awkward little girl. And, she has her brother and her mom, but she's different from them, and she goes to this farmhouse and she kind of is finding out who her family was and connecting to her grandfather who she never knew, kind of finding herself and, secrets, but she kind of goes to this farmhouse and rediscovers who her family is, connects to something.
And
Thank you.
Logan, you play the character of Podcast, as Gil referenced earlier. Tell us a little bit about him and how you got involved in the film.
Well, my character, he's very extroverted. He likes to talk a lot. He's funny even when he doesn't want to be. Some people laugh at him, but he doesn't care. He'll express his ideas. He believes in, mysteries and the Illuminati, lizard people and such. So this outward guy who nobody talks to meets up with, Phoebe, the complete opposite of his characteristics, and they just become good friends. And the way I got this job, I remember this is my 8 months after I stopped my acting classes. I got this audition. I saw, boy, girl. I was like, okay, this is pretty good. I saw the script. I was like, okay, I like this.
Yeah, this is okay.
This is okay. This is okay.
By the way, this is Logan's first movie ever.
Yes.
He was.
Yeah, first acting job ever.
Do you hear how it sounds like he's done 70 movies, and he's kind of put off by it at this point. But he was in a FedEx commercial before this.
I did
A FedEx thing where they train the people. One of the FedEx training videos.
It wasn't even a FedEx commercial.
It wasn't even a
FedEx
commercial.
Industrial. And he showed up on set like it was this 70th movie. He would be there with the sides. He's like, oh, is this what we're doing today? All right, you're going to do it? I'll stand. All right, cool, let's do this.
Oh, yeah. I had so much fun. Oh, it was such a mystery. And I turned in the tape, and then here we are.
And if you can follow that, Celeste, maybe you could tell us a little bit about your character and how you got the role.
Yes, my character is Lucky. She's badass. She is the only one here who's actually from Somerville. She's from the small town that the family moves to, and she's kind of over it. She's like, I'm looking for fun. I'm looking for adventure. I want out of my small town. And when she meets Trevor, she finds that. It's like the perfect match. And I also, didn't know anything about this project throughout the auditioning process. I think the role said teen girl. And I was in school at the time too, and I had an exam the day that the tape was due, and I was like, guys, I really have to study for this exam. Is it okay if I just pass on this? And they were like, no, you should really do this audition. And I was like, okay, I ran to my dorm, literally after the library, after studying, taped it, and when I found out it was Ghostbusters, I was like, oh my God. I would have put in way more time into that self-tape if I had known. But I mean, it's such an honor. I'm so grateful to be here.
And with the Ghostbusters movies, there's so much great, there's so many great props and uniforms, and you got the Ecto-1, and a lot of this has been sort of featured in the materials that's out there. But I guess this is a question for the cast. What's it like, to be on a set and someone hands you a proton pack or says get in this uniform or drive this car or whatever?
Yeah, just like drive this car.
Well, because Finn,
yeah, that's what Sony gave me the keys, and they were going, you just drive it. It's fine. Take it around the block.
Finn, you're a man of a certain age. I mean, you must have a driving license, I imagine. So I assume you were driving around, driving the Ecto-1 around all day long?
Totally, yeah.
Yeah.
No. That was like the big crux of my character is that he's a driver.
Mm-hmm.
And you're a method actor.
And I'm a method actor, so I went out and I failed my driver's test twice. So, no, I didn't technically, well, I did drive it. It was, I drove a few inches. That's all they kind of trusted me with. But it was pretty amazing. Especially, I think a lot of people will appreciate this about the movie. A lot of it is practical, like puppets and animatronics, and that's hugely important. And you've seen the trailer, me and the Ecto-1 going through the barley field. That Jason went with the crew in the winter before we shot it and figured out the plot of land, and then they planted a real field, and we just ripped through it. So that's all real. That's all that's actually. They put a Corvette engine in the Ecto-1.
So what you're saying, Finn, is he planted a head?
Oh, Logan.
Boo!
Come on.
Anyways, yeah, but it was great. I don't know.
No, it was amazing. The sets were incredible. It was really cool to see how large the sets we were in. I was blown away. I came right from my first indie movie onto this huge Ghostbusters set where there were puppets, things were built, there were so many practical sets and props and all of that, and it was just incredible to see. I didn't even know that they could have construction teams on movies, and I saw people with forklifts, and I was like, what is happening? It was incredible.
It would have been very easy to do a green screen instead for some of this stuff, but as an actor, it's the dream. It's that you go to a playground and you play. It's what everybody dresses up to do, right? If you guys had a chance to walk into that world, you'd have a ball, and it makes your job so much easier because some of the imagination part is already filled in for you, and then you can use your imagination for the other parts, like the acting part.
For any fan, I'm sure if you walked onto a Ghostbusters set and there were no props and just a green screen, that would be such a bummer. And I think for us, that was hugely important too, and it made the set really fun.
One cast member who couldn't be here today is Paul Rudd, who is allegedly a pleasant person, but as he's not here, this is now your chance
He's
to
fine.
talk smack about Paul Rudd.
People should stop giving him people really, really are talking all about this Paul Rudd guy. And I met him. He's fine.
He's also 107 years old.
He's a vampire.
Yeah.
He might be a vampire. Yeah. I don't know, but yeah, he's the best. I don't know. It was amazing to be on set with him.
Jason and Ivan, I mean, I had a very good relationship with my father, but like the one time talking about Finn's problem, the one time he tried to teach me how to drive just ended in a massive argument. The idea that I would, even if I could make a film, would make a film with him, I can't possibly imagine doing that. What was that like? And what's the biggest argument you had in the course of the production? We've got all the time in the world to answer that question.
If you want to know what it was like on set, our director's chairs were closer than they are right now. They were literally touching, and that was wonderful most of the time. But I want you to imagine for a second that your parents came with you to work and weighed in on all the decisions you made. And if you disagreed and were going to get into an argument, whatever you were about to say to them was going to begin with the one word as a director you cannot say on set. You cannot say on set, "Dad."
I think he was very brave to take the whole thing on. And I had it much easier than Jason. Jason had to really be at the captain of this sort of very large enterprise and find some new, fresh way of doing the story. And you know, the fact that I was there with a word to say every once in a while. We tried not to fight, and we fought a little bit.
A little bit.
You know, I think the last
I heard a lot of fights. A lot of fights.
No, that's actually not true. We didn't fight a lot.
We didn't fight a lot, but we were passionate, and we just tried to find a way to control the passion so that the best things happened.
And if we're going to be sincere,
I'm sorry.
Look, the whole reason we're here tonight is because the man that's sitting to my left.
You're going to make me cry. I cry pretty easy these days.
We love Ivan too.
Really, the real applause goes to Jason. And hopefully soon you'll see it, you know, why.
Well, speaking of which, obviously the film, you know, for reasons related to the pandemic, was delayed. I mean, if I'd been in or had made a Ghostbusters film, I'd want people to see it the next day. What's it been like for the cast, you know, having to wait all this time?
Anytime I do an interview or anything, they're always like, "So, the new Ghostbusters movie," and I'm like, my lips are sealed. It's so scary because you don't want to say anything, especially because it's so sacred. You don't want to reveal it. It's just, you know, whenever you see it, I saw it for the first time last night, and it was like watching something completely new because I hadn't read the script in forever. It's been 2 years. I look completely different. My grandma watched the trailer, and she called my mom, and she was like, "I didn't see McKenna in it." Yeah, she did, but she didn't know. It's weird. Logan's voice is deep now.
Hello.
You know? It's so special to be here, especially like, I know y'all have been waiting too, but like so much hard work and love was put into this film, so it's just so nice to be able to see it all coming together finally after 2 years, you know?
Yeah, amazing.
My baby was 16 months old when we made it, and he learned how to talk in Calgary while we were shooting, and now my baby's 3.5, and I have a 13-week-old. That was a long time ago.
Yeah. When I heard Logan speak for the first time after we made the movie, I heard him on the phone, and he was like, "Hey," and I was like, "No, go back, go back to what you were before." Yeah, it's crazy. It's really weird, and I still don't have my driver's license.
And Jason, I mean, there are, you know, as we know, plenty of movies that have had limited theatrical releases or no releases at all over the past year and a half. What does it mean that this, is going to be on a lot of screens, a lot of big screens? What does the theatrical experience mean to you?
I mean, it means everything to me. And look, I love streaming as much as everybody else, and it's certainly helped get me through the pandemic. But I love movies. I know you guys do too. And we wanted to make a movie that could be enjoyed like this. We wanted to make a movie that could be enjoyed with a huge audience, with popcorn on a big screen with incredible sound, where you were experiencing it the way you experienced the movie in '84. And so I'm thrilled to be at Sony, which is the studio most dedicated to theatrical films.
We've got some clips to show. I'm going to ask you to set them up, set the first one up in a moment. But do you, having successfully, I've seen the movie, I think it's fantastic. Having successfully made this one, do you have any thoughts about the future of Ghostbusters?
I can't believe that we survived making this one. So at first I just want to say, like everyone else here, I can't believe we're here. It is an honor to be here at Comic-Con. Literally, the last time I was at Comic-Con was 10 years ago with Jennifer's Body. Like, I didn't know I would be back at a Comic-Con, and this is effing amazing. And we wanted to make a movie that opened the universe to all kinds of stories. I want to see Ghostbusters movies from all of my favorite directors, and we hope that this movie sets the table for that.
Okay, who'd like to see a clip from the film? Jason, would you like to set up the first clip?
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess, before I do, I'll say this. I think it kind of got mentioned earlier, but man, it's been a while since we started making this film, and you all are the most patient fans on Earth.
Yes.
And frankly, my father and I think you've waited long enough.
Let's show it!
All right, so everyone quiet and just enjoy Ghostbusters. Now, look, here's the deal. Here's the deal. Two things. You know what I'm going to say, but I'm going to say it anyway. I want everyone who ever gets to see this film to see it the right way. I want them to see it the way you're about to see it. So no matter what you think of this film, no matter even if you love this film, please do not spoil it. Please do not say what happens in the end. You'll see why soon enough. Please, please keep it to yourself. We want this to remain a secret. We want this to be magic for everybody. Thank you.
Let's go. Yeah.
Yeah. And one other thing. Also, make sure you sit through all of the credits. It would be a crime to leave before the end. Now, we're gonna do a photo. Can everyone pull up that fan? You got a fan when you walked in here today. Yeah, it looks like, don't worry, you're not bidding on anything. We need to do a photo. We're gonna turn the other way, we're gonna do a photo. If you can all hold them up, that would be amazing.
Okay.
Yeah, we're facing this way. Ready? This way. Ready?
Who are you going to call?
All right. All right, enjoy the movie.
Folks, please put your hands together for Gil Cannon, Celeste O'Connor, Logan Kidd, McKenna Grace, Finn Wolfhard, Carrie Coon.